Hi, this is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are continuing with the very same topic that emphasizes the fact that your title does not make you a leader, but there are some aspects of life that makes you a leader. There are some elements or principles that you need to follow and do that makes you a leader. And one of those today that I want to speak about is your integrity. Your integrity speaks volumes. Your integrity actually speaks to the fact of whether you become a leader or not. And I've said that integrity is ability to do what you say you will do. And integrity can be also defined as to do exactly or profess what you confess. And that's exactly what we mean by integrity. Integrity, it means also that you actually live by your teachings. You actually do what you say you will do, and you do exactly as you teach. You become an example of note whereby people look at you and say, but this person has been consistent in their behavior. And I want to emphasize also that integrity is a product of consistent good behavior. And when you are having consistent good behavior, people look up to you and they see you as a leader, even if you don't say to people, recruit them and say, I'm your leader, follow me, and so on, because people decide when they want to be a leader, they want to be a follower for you voluntarily or not. So don't coerce people and tell them you're a leader and force them that you're a leader. But let people look up to you based on your integrity and follow you and become your followers. Now, I want to also just outline integrity in an example that you will remember. I'm sure all of you have seen a statue of an individual or a statue of something. And that statue, you'll realize that whatever action that it has put up, let's say the statue has raised up its hand like this. I want to say the statue, when it has raised up its hand, there's no time that it drops the hand. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter whether people are watching it or not, because sometimes we do things that are not consistent with who we are. And therefore, we do things that we do them behind closed doors. We do them in the dark. We don't really take cognizance of whether we are damaging our own integrity or not. And sometimes we rely so much on whether someone sees me or not. Now, integrity doesn't go by who sees you. And that is why a statue will remain raised with its hand raised, even whether you see it or not. But I want you also to see that a statue will remain with the hand lifted up, whether it is raining, whether it is hot, whether it is cold, because integrity should not be dependent on weather. It must not be dependent on climate as well. We cannot do other things just because it is hot or it is cold or the temperatures are favorable outside. You must do that which you said you will do, and continue being consistent in what you do without looking at the weather, because you can do good actually when it's cold, when it's raining, and with all the untoward effects of weather. Continue being yourself is what we call integrity. Now, integrity is ability to say yes to yes and no to no at the right time, without fear of failure or favor, without actually fearing that people will ostracize you. Because most of the time we compromise our integrity because we are afraid of what people will say. Now, as a young man, I'm emphasizing this because I know there's what we call peer pressure. And peer pressure is whereby your own friends, your own peers are actually encouraging you to behave in a certain way, and they want to approve you doing things in a certain way. And also because of being afraid of disapproval from your friends, some of you as young men, you subject yourself to do that which they expect you to do, even though it is wrong. And that is what we call compromising your integrity. Now, as a young man, I want to emphasize that avoid compromising integrity and become somebody who remains actually strongly linked to your integrity to a way that people can predict you. Remember that a good integrity is predictable. People can know how you will behave in a different environment. The people will know how you will behave in a certain situation. And therefore, you must be predictable as a person. Now, integrity sometimes is tarnished by our way of handling emotions, because there are those of us who cannot handle emotions. There are those of us who are temperamental. We get angry. Our temper is ruling us, and so on. And that tarnishes your integrity. Because as a young man, if you are going to do things because you say, I was too angry, you do things because it was many people will say it was a spare of a moment. Now, that is not integrity. That is compromising your integrity. Because you cannot rely on emotion dictating on you. People of integrity, they live by principles, not by emotions. And they decide what to do, when, and what. And they will do it because they want to do it. And they will never actually blame anybody, people of integrity, to say, so and so have made me to do that and that, because they know that nobody can make you to do that which you don't want to do, as long as you've got integrity. But as a young man, I want you to be aware that peer pressure could be very untoward and dangerous to you. And that is why some of our young men are in drugs, they are in prostitution, they are in criminal behavior, and different types of behaviors that are not acceptable in the communities. And as a young man, I want you to be aware of that what will make you a leader is not your title, but its ability to manage your own integrity and make sure that you respect your integrity at all times. The last thing that I want you to be aware of that will actually make impact your leadership and make you a leader is your team's respect. Now, this is very important. When we speak about the team's respect, we talk about you starting to respect your team first. Because we cannot speak about the team respecting you as a leader until you instill an attitude or an environment of respect. Now, as leaders, most of the time, those who are more about titles, we have seen that they want to emphatically make people coerced into recognizing them as leaders, while they don't behave like leaders. And I want to urge you as a young man to be careful of that. Because if you don't behave like a leader, but yet you want to impose people, and you don't respect them, but you want to impose respect from them, it is not going to happen. And that cannot be on. And I want to say that when you are a young man who's a leader, make sure that you instill respect by respecting them. Because respect as a principle becomes a seed that you plant in the hearts of others. Remember that people respect those who respect them, because that's just a planting and reaping principle. It's actually a sowing and reaping principle. And if it's a sowing and reaping principle, it means that if you sow love in lives of people, people will love you back. You sow humility in lives of people, people will be humble towards you again. But this is respect as well. You must respect the people first if you are to see respect coming back from your team. Now, respect your team. Make sure that you respect them as individuals. It doesn't matter how weak they look like. It doesn't matter how they look like themselves. And I want to emphasize that it is very key that you respect them despite of what you think about them. And I want to emphasize that. And I know that many of us are struggling in respecting some members of our teams. Maybe because they've spoken bad about you. Maybe because they've backbited about you as well. And you have happened to hear from other people about what a certain member was saying about you, a member of your team was saying about you. I want to emphasize that despite of that, as a credible leader, as a leader with integrity. So please ignore what your member said. Respect them and continue respecting them. And as you do that, you're basically sourcing out respect from them as well. And they will continue respecting you. Respect is very key. And I believe strongly that it makes you a good leader when you respect your team, despite of whether they're young or old, despite of whether they're knowledgeable or not, despite of whether they're rich or poor, or they're weak or strong. So please respect your own team, and therefore they will respect you too. And you will earn respect from people that you will respect. I want to end up here today. Your host, Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of Church of Young Men Empowerment Forum and Church Governance Solutions as well. I want to remind you of our Facebook page, Micornus Phokane, the Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum. And I want you to click notification buttons as you like and follow those pages, because You will be reminded as soon as we have posted materials of this kind. Remember our YouTube channel as well, very important, and that will help you as we check out that our YouTube channel needs to be subscribed to and click notification button on it. We have got TikTok account as well, as we are keeping on expanding our platform or medium of platform of instructions and medium of communication, which is the platform that we're using right now. We're expanding them, and therefore we've introduced TikTok as well. So please follow us on TikTok under Micornus Phokane, and your life shall never be the same again. Allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.